Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Depressed, and we're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, our phone lines have now been open for you to call in and make your contributions known, as we've now been joined by our guest, Obadiah Mbila, who's the chairman, Lovewalk Media. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you so very much, and good morning, Nigerians.
Interesting to have you, especially whenever you're wearing your
traditional attire,
especially the cap. Yes, especially the cap. I know that any day I see you with this cap, I know we are in for something interesting.
Wow. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome once again to the studio. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in Nigeria at the moment. There's been a lot of conversations around looting or no looting. They say it's food crisis. Now, on the Punch newspaper, it says tight security at Nema stores as hoodlums loot FCT warehouses. Troops foil attack on Abuja warehouse, arrest 5, hoodlums cut away rice orders, and policemen deployed in Bayelsa, Kaduna, Delta, Osun warehouses. Reforms not meant to inflict hardship. That's coming from Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, ever since the subsidy removal, skyrocketing of the dollar, Nigerians have been living from hand to mouth. In fact, some persons are even sliding every day into poverty. Now, let's get your thoughts on what's beginning to happen right now, because we saw in Zaria yesterday that a particular truck driver for Boa was actually traveling and then stopped by to pray at some point, and then all the pasta in his truck was looted. In fact, there were people recording the video. And now we also saw in Abuja, Nema's warehouse, that all the food items in there were also looted. And these are supposed to be, these food items are meant to take care of people that have displacement issues. The IDPs,
emergency
exactly,
issues.
when there are emergency issues, and then they've gone to cut them away. At this point, should we call it criminality, or should we just say the people are hungry and they needed to, show their grievance of some sort, especially with regards to the fact that there's been long-time protests and pockets of protests in different states coming?
Let me crave your indulgence of Nigerians to wish my Oga at the top, Senator Baribe, a happy belated birthday, because I've not been around the studio to do that. So I wish him to continue to be courageous in what he's doing and know how to do best.
Absolutely.
You see, my dear, we live in a Nigeria where we have the officials have not learned to be proactive, to nip problems that has not even emerged at the board. Nigerians will indeed harvest so much for the removal of the subsidy. But because the president and his team did not sit down to articulate the step-by-step requirement towards the removal of the subsidy, it was just a type of a commando approach. That is what we are seeing. The boomerang is now telling on Nigerians on the street. May I say, whereas I don't like to be a prophet of doom, what we see happening around Nigeria now is just a child's play. Looting of warehouses, cutting away the truckload of goods, and so on and so forth. It's just a child's play. Hunger brings anger. And that is what is in the land now. The rulers do not seem to understand the extent this thing has eaten into the fabrics of our society, compelling people to do and behave like animals.
Wow.
I am not prophesying doom.
Of course.
At a time, if this thing continues the way it's going, I'm afraid those who drive SUV on the street might be exposing their life to danger, because street urchins and even normal human beings who were normal before the present situation we found ourselves would think that they have money in their vehicles. Therefore, stopping them to cut away the money should be part of the way to handle the challenges of the day. Now, what we are seeing is just telling you the the outcome of the removal of the oil subsidy that was not well planned and articulated. The people do not understand that the food in the warehouse of NEMA belongs to IDP or is for emergency purpose. They are hungry, and so they want to find food to eat. People who were on the highway in Zaria and found that a truck was conveying goods apparently bought from somewhere and heading to somewhere to deliver the goods. Before the driver could help himself, it has been carted, it has been vandalized. Now, this is just a foretaste of what we are going to see in the future, unless something is done and done fast.
But you know, talking about some of these things, and you said unless something is done and done fast, but we all know that in order to actually get the best of things, there will always be pain. You know, the conversations around no pain, no gain. So what if this is the stage of, because the president has been telling us to be patient and things are being done and works are being put on ground, do you think he's no longer do you think he's no longer giving us that green light, that there's going to be lights at the end of the tunnel or even in the middle of this tunnel that we are in?
Yeah, the question is this: how much patience can a hungry man have so that you will call it adequate or sufficient patience? He is hungry. The only language a hungry man understands is food to eat. Anything short of food to eat has not solved his problem. We are patient people. Nigerians are indeed very patient, but when the patient is connected with hunger, it defies every decorum. It defies every gentility. It only acts, and sometimes act in violent way that disrupt the peace of the society.
All right, so while we understand that some of this looting here and there is part of the consequences of the rising cost of living, there's this conversation from our Vice President, Kashim Shettima. He said the current, living consequence is as a result of our past. Now, that is assuring that federal government will fix the economy. I listened to the former aviation minister, Osita, and he had a different view of these things. He said part of the problem started from President Muhammadu Buhari. And he also thinks that the president may not have the best of hands when it comes to managing a national level government.
Yeah.
When it comes to the economy. So let's get your thoughts on it, because he's saying it's a different thing when it's at the sub-national level and a different game plan when it's at the national level, using President Olusegun Obasanjo as a case study, whom he served under. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I share passionately with the position of Chief Osita Chidoka. You know, our former president did not have a plan for the economy. He did not have plan for the society. He was just, doing what he wants to do, not minding the consequences. And I have said this time and again in this studio, if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recognizes the harm his predecessor had inflicted on the economy, the society, and the nation at large, he would not have told the state that he's taking. Because for me, he is still managing the crisis left by President Buhari. He is still patching the crisis led by President Buhari, whereas he needed a turnaround approach. So, for him to take turnaround approach, of course, somehow he will cause injury to the past administration. And I think that's what he's avoiding. And now the injury he would have caused to the past administration and their personnel is what he is causing Nigerians. Instead of
well, who should be more important? Who should be prioritized? There shouldn't it be Nigerians, away from people's away from a particular minute set of people's image?
Yeah, that's what we are saying. it takes a non-partisan courage to do the things President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to do. It takes a non-partisan courage. It means his party is APC. What President Buhari did was done under the structure of APC. Now he is the successor of Muhammad Buhari. He is to amend, manage, patch every loopholes that was created by his predecessor. In doing this, he is also to manage, encourage the Nigerian people so that his administration will have a hitch-free flow. Now, managing these two ends is not going to be easy for anybody. It is either you are going to cause harm to one or inflict injury to one, or you are going to please one and displease the other.
Of course.
For me, the best to go is to do now is to do away with the interests of the few and pursue the interests of the majority of Nigerian people who started suffering under Muhammad Buhari. If you understand the way the economy was being run, the CBN was being run and so on, you know that Nigeria will not live long before it started bleeding bad. So at the time he was living, President Ahmed Tinubu should have summoned up very, very intelligent economists, very, very intelligent politicians, very, very intelligent experts in various fields, and begin to receive counsel from them on how to manage this crisis that was left behind by his predecessor.
You know, but there are conversations around the fact that Yemi Cardoso is actually very, very, capable. But do you also think that he's only capable at the subnational level, and they would have needed more of the likes of the Okonjo-Iweala to run things?
Thank you. You see, we are not talking of personalities and how much knowledge they have in the particular sector, where they come from. Who were the members of the transition committee of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu? Who? The transition committee are the ones that will identify the problem you are going to inherit or you are inheriting, and then begin to prefer solution on how to approach it. Otherwise, the thing will polarize, the thing will spoil in your hands. Who were the transition committee of President Bola Tinubu? You know that they were so much, he didn't win, he won. INEC did and they didn't do. Result, they didn't buy vote, they bought result. So this thing beclouded that period that he should be putting together those that will help him secure this economy, secure this country. Now, we are not talking of individuals now.
Of course.
Before we bring Okonjo-Iweala, there were a transition committee that found the monumental challenges that were before Obasanjo, and began to remember, oh, we have one good head that is at so-and-so place, go and bring him. We have another one at so-and-so, go and bring her, or go and bring him. The important thing here is that when you look at what Obasanjo did, even what Jonathan did, you discover that Bola Tinubu is not helping himself. He is using those he knew already. He is using those that had been in his team already. Whereas the problem that is confronting him is above what he already knew previously.
What a burden, because he already said that he's ready for these assignments. Do you think he's able to do it? But what would you suggest, if you were talking to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu right now, what would you suggest he should do to save the economy?
Going forward,
yes.
Going forward, the team he has brought so far, let us accept that they were men and women who had worked with him over the period of 24 years or 25 years since he was the governor of Lagos State. That taken, and with a good heart, you now remind yourself that, look, what I am inheriting now, or what is before me, the challenge which I told Nigerians I am capable, that is not something of the physical power, but that of mental power. So since I still have bright mental power, let me assemble those who can help me do this work. Not doing the business as usual thing we do in our political terrain, where you remember, Olamide used to be my press secretary 20 years ago. Go and bring her. Frank used to be my commissioner for this and that. Go and bring him. And you continue to assemble such team. You think that you will succeed? They are coming with the knowledge and the exposure they had previously. Whereas what is confronting them is far, 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 far above what they were exposed to.
Absolutely.
So you are not helping yourself by not going for a team that does not have tag. A team that knows the challenge that is before you and can come together and provide solution and say, Mr. President, take this step or take that step. Don't forget that in this country we have never had a Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy. It was a nomenclature used by Okonjo-Iweala or created by Okonjo-Iweala. Why? Because as an expert, she realized that what she is doing, or what other ministers within the framework of what they are doing is doing, has to be harnessed, has to be streamlined, has to be made simpler by policies that comes from the presidency. So what the finance minister is saying is what the minister of education is saying in his own way and in his own sector, and that's what the minister of internal affairs is saying from his own corner. And that is what I understand by coordinating minister. Now we are using such nomenclature even under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but who is coordinating who? So the problem, we must accept that it has become so polarized, and therefore it needs experts beyond the Kadoso that I know is good in financial matters. No, it's no longer about Kadoso or whoever you are putting there. It's how can we confront this monumental challenge that we have never seen in Lagos State before, that we have not even seen before in Nigeria.
True.
So the truth is that when you are confronting a challenge that you have never met before, you need to leverage from where you are standing to stand above the challenge. And like we would say, the Bible would say, when the enemy will come like a flood, the Spirit of God will lift up a standard. We must change our perspective of how we confront the problem. We must stand above the problem itself before we'll be able to provide a lasting solution.
Okay, that's a beautiful submission. Well, let's also take this post. President Bola Tinubu has been under fire since yesterday that he made the statement in Qatar. He said, Tinubu said the statement specifically is that the president said they should report Nigerian officials demanding bribes. He told Qatari investors. Now, I wanted to pick exactly his words that he stated. He said he said, do not offer a bribe to any of our people. If it is requested or taken from you, report to us. You will have access to me. Tinubu said at the Nigeria-Qatar Business and Investment Forum in Doha on Sunday. He said there is no delay to this path of prosperity. Now, he's come under fire that, why are you demarketing your country and making it look like we are just a bunch of people who are fond of taking bribes? And on a second thought, some persons are giving him that. Some persons are saying he's giving them investors confidence, like you can come in, you can do business with us in a very, very easy way without any sort of obstruction of any kind. Now let's get your thoughts on that. Where do you stand with this statement? What do you think of the statement that the president made?
You mean where I stand in the indictment he made?
Exactly.
On his officials.
Thank God you called it an indictment. Yeah, that means we already know where you stand.
It's good that a moment ago we were discussing about the team that he assembled. president is telling you that he doesn't have confidence that the team will not take bribe from you, he is indicting them. So what else do I need to say about this? The president probably knows his team better, that they are bribe takers. That's what he's telling them, far away Qatar. And here we have a country that has this discipline. Everyone recognize that when you talk of Qatar, Dubai, or those UAE countries, you're talking of a country that is in the desert. You're talking of a country that has that just decided one day and said, look, things must change. We must create wealth. And they began to create wealth. Now is the destination. It's now a global destination. Everyone wants to go to UAE. Everyone wants to learn a model that they're using. And that's what President Bola Tinubu wants to, went there to do. And then he's saying, you investors from Qatar, if you come to do businesses in Nigeria, you're welcome. But if anyone demands a bribe from you, come straight to me.
Please, let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome to the press.
Yeah, this is Akim from Lagos.
Mr. Akim, you're welcome. Please join the conversation.
Okay, thank you. I want to make comments over what Mr. President said in Qatar. Look, like your analyst is there, I respect him very much. But I think you should think another way around.
Okay.
Not saying because Mr. President indicts people because he knows that they are corrupt. No, your analyst is wrong. Now, this is what it is. Everybody knows Nigeria is corrupt. It is what we know. Everybody knows that Nigeria is corrupt. It's not necessarily because of those people he appointed. So nobody knows the kind of discussion that had gone before even they meet the officials there, and why there was a delay even before meeting the Qataris. And if Mr. President is trying to give them an assurance that he's there in case anybody demands a bribe, they should contact him. It's the necessary thing that Mr. President should say. There's nothing. What are we hiding? Nigeria, I'm calling all of you. What are you hiding? Are we not corrupt? It is true. Mr. President is very right. It is the kind of people we are. Go to the Nigerian port. I don't want to identify any kind of tribe. The kind of importers in this country are very corrupt. They import something in a very cheap price and selling in a high price, and they claim that they put it in a cheaper price. So let me not go too deep. The fact is that what Mr. President said, it was very right here because Qatar is a country that doesn't like corruption. Probably, like I said, there must be a discussion before they come on national or on a television, and that made Mr. President to make that statement to affirm to them that he's there for them in case that happens. So please, let us know Mr. President anyway. Your analysts then know that Nigerians are corrupt, and you know what I'm talking about. So if Mr. President is assuring that they should report to him, that is a very good thing to start with. I just hope that God will help him out, because this country fails everywhere. It is because of our corruption we cannot move an inch. So please, nobody should come and be discrediting Mr. President. Mr. President is right in this aspect. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
God bless you too.
Thank you very much. I think he misplaced the conversation. The question is not whether Nigerians are corrupt or not. That's not the issue. But should the president be the one to go out there to announce it? That's where we are talking.
You know, some person said he should have probably used another word away from bribe. Probably he should say, in case you encounter any sort of problems, let me know directly.
The truth is this, like the last caller said, everyone knows that bribery and corruption has eaten deep into the fabrics of the society. Everyone is involved. The university is involved. Even the pastors and the imams are involved. We know this. And only God knows how we are going to get healed. But should the president go to Qatar to announce to the world that if they ask you of bribe, revert to me? I should think that the president can do that maybe privately in a private conversation.
Okay, let's quickly take Elder Zion's thoughts. Hello, good morning, Elder Zion. Good morning, Elder Zion.
Elder Zion.
Good morning, Alhassan. Well,
thank you, sir.
Elder Zion.
how was your?
It's been long.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mbila, God bless you.
Thank you, brother.
You see, all we are saying is how it will be well with Nigeria. President Tinubu has returned from Qatar, where he went to ensure that things work well with us. Well, I don't want to comment more on that.
Okay.
What concerns me more is the present predicament of Nigerians. There is no food. People are looting warehouses. People are doing one or two things to ensure that they survive. There is emergency at hand. Qatar or no Qatar, it's a long-term program. It will not solve our immediate problems. Let President Tinubu do something quickly before the planting season.
Okay.
Organize farmers, provide agricultural implements, fertilizers, and other things quickly. Governors, local government teams, politicians, councillors should join hands with other Nigerians. We are in a day need.
Okay.
Things are going to happen. Sadly, we are going to face refugees. But then, it's Ghana that will take us, or Cote d'Ivoire, or Republic of Guinea. 3 months only, if you are serious. By the 12th month, we will get food. At least, we will feed our stomach.
Okay.
Before we start talking of other things. Let him come down from his high horse.
All right.
And say the reason why Nigeria will not suffocate. We have what it takes to feed our people. Please, God bless you.
God bless you too.
Mbila,
God bless you, Elder Zion.
your great analysis.
Thank you.
God bless you, Alhassan.
God bless you too. Thank you very much, Elder Zion.
Thank you. You know, he had just reminded me an angle about this looting.
Yes.
The NEMA is National Emergency Management Agency.
Oh, so I understand that now.
And
there's hunger emergency.
The situation in the country is an emergency.
Okay.
So the people are going to the emergency agency to feed themselves.
What they need to use to feed themselves. Okay, true. Because first of all, you need to stay alive.
Of course.
To be able to discuss other things. All right. So there's also another conversation of a brewing NLC strike. Now, I say only implementation of agreements will stop nationwide strike. NLC insists. Now, there are conversations of 1 million naira minimum wage. How possible is that? Do you foresee that as a possibility?
They know it's not possible.
So why are they insisting that only implementation?
They didn't insist. Let government come up at a stage during this negotiation. There are listening publics. There are analysts that are also watching who would come up and say, come on, you are reasonable, NLC. How would you demand 1 million monthly package? So, but the problem is that the government does not appear to be taking this conversation as serious as, and with the urgency it requires. One would have expected that by now we'll be hearing, no, we can't pay 1 million, we can pay 100,000. You know, and the NLC insists that it must be 1 million. And then the people will rise up against, no more against the government now, but against the NLC because they're becoming unreasonable, you know. So, for me, the negotiation has not been honest, has not been very sincere as it should be, has not been as open and as transparent as it should be.
Now that this conversation now, do you know, aside this NLC strike that is brewing, there's also the strike of ASU, the SANU, coming up too. They said the non-academic staff of universities have not been paid for 4 months, and it's as though they took them out of the initial agreement that was signed with the federal government. So what do you think? Do you think they called it some sort of controversy happening, that because the federal government had agreed that they should pay them and give them all their entitlements, but they are being singled out as though they are not as important as the teaching staff of the university?
How? Which group is that?
SANU.
Well, I am yet to dig deep into the difference between what ASU and SANU is demanding. Now, the truth has been that the university had insisted that they cannot key into the single treasury account, and they needed EPs as it is obtained everywhere in the world. The controversy has been on since the introduction of single treasury account. But coming to President Tinubu, he conceded. He said, go on with your IPIS.
Yes.
So what is wrong again? I don't seem to understand.
Well, they said it's not that is not a technical problem. It's just that they refuse to make payments to them.
Okay.
Anyway, the conversation is still going on, and
let's see. Maybe as it develops, we'll know how to analyze the entire situation. Okay.
Now, I'm sure you've heard of the Orosai's report and the plan of implementation.
Yes.
So there's this headline that is on the Daily Sun that I'm believing has some sort of linkage to the implementation of that report. It says reps move to strip president governor's power to proclaim and dissolve the assembly. You know, because the Orasa, part of the suggestions of that report is to cut down on the cost of governance, and that has and then relocation of some MDAs, the merger of some NDAs, and all of that. Now, with these conversations, there are also talks on ground that why do we need the upper and the lower houses? And now we see this bill they are trying to move this to ensure that no president or governor has the power to dissolve any assembly. What's your take on that?
Please, maybe we must put it in perspective. The power of the president to convocate the National Assembly as provided by the Constitution is ceremonial. It does not come with how do I put it? The president does not assert power in that procedure. That is the same with the dismissal of the assembly, whether at the state level or at the national level. All that the Constitution provided for, which for me was unnecessary. It's a different arm of government. The legislature is a different arm of government. We must find a way of saying the legislature must be convocated or must start operation by so and so thing, not by the president as if it is his legislature. It's not the legislature of the president. It's the legislature of the people. It's the House of Assembly of the people. So what should be the procedure in convocating the members? That is just what they are doing there. And they are right. It should not be the president that should summon the legislature. It's not the president's legislature. It is the people's legislature. So for me, the drafters of the Constitution that provided for the president within, I think it is within 7 days after his swearing in, and also the governor 7 days or so after his swearing in, should convocate the National Assembly or the State Assembly, as the case may be. It does not make for independence of the arms of government. So for me, what the National Assembly is rooting for is in order. There have to be a way we amend that particular clause in the Constitution that said the president must convocate. It is wrong if we want independence of the arms. Now, talking about the bicameral legislature we practice at the federal level. We do not do that at the state level, mind you.
Yes.
So at the state level, we will have one single house. The question is, why do we duplicate? Is it just because we are learning from America? And then, of course, do we really operate the way America operates? America does not have a sitting Senate president the way we do. America is like really ruled by the Speaker of the Congress. So here we have the President of the Senate and we have the Speaker of the House of Representatives. This is not necessary. So if we must do the American model, which we claim...
You know, we're also talking about the parliamentary system.
Very well.
For that
when we go to parliamentary system, it's a different ball game altogether.
Do you think it's a good idea?
Of course. The problem is that every good idea has its own problem too.
Of course.
It's only a question of weighing between the good side of this and the bad side of it, the one that outweighs the other. If the good side outweighs the bad side, then we go for the parliamentary system. If the executive also, the problem I have with the executive,
has Nigeria not gone past the stage of test running anything at this point?
No, it is. It's not test running. You know, we had the parliamentary system before the war. It was after the war that people began to identify or pick loopholes here and there. How can you say you are the prime minister, you are ruling all of us, when I didn't vote for you? That was the problem. So they wanted a president that would be popular and that would exercise constitutional, if you like, a constitutional dictator. That is why we are practicing this. We didn't, how do I put it? You can pick the code anyway.
Okay, I think we missed it, but the person sent a message anyway.
Yeah.
It says our politicians should do away with this selfishness and face reality. Our problem is far above party affairs. If your house is on fire, do you select those to assist you? Do you select those to assist you to quench it? So let us look for qualified economists to find lasting solutions before the country collapses. Yeah,
we have said that at the opening sentences of our conversation. So where we are now is that the presidential system is money consuming. They chop money well. Look at what Alhassan report is proposing.
Yes.
By the time you match 42 agencies, you've cut down the payment of 42 chairmen.
But won't that lead to... Okay, let me just have you finish.
You have cut down the running cost of 42 chairmen and their aides. You've cut down the running cost of offices that we don't even need have an issue. You've cut down so much. You've cut down so much. So that you can't have in the parliamentary system.
Okay, but talking about cutting down some of these agencies, won't that also mean that sending some people to go off work, like making some persons become jobless in these times of economic turbulence?
That is the fear of many. It depends on the implementation. Those that are working for the federal government are federal government staff. If it is in those days that they used to have pool, you see that, for instance, the accountant general or the auditor general of the federation can take a staff from the pool in the Ministry of, who is working with the Ministry of Internal Affairs, for instance, or Foreign Affairs. It takes them from Foreign Affairs and send them to Police Affairs or send them to Works and Housing, as it were. They are federal government staff.
Okay, so what about a situation where, for instance, okay, part of the plan is to get NACA to be a sub under disease control, Center for Disease Control. So NACA NACA has a director.
Yeah.
Disease control has a director.
Yes.
So are they going to have two directors in one organization?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In NACA, for instance, there are political appointees in NACA.
Okay.
And in the other agency,
NCDC,
there are also political appointees. The regular staff are staff of the federal government. The political appointees must go. One of them must go. Then the one that is to succeed will now absorb the other staff, other regular public civil servants. So what we are cutting out here is the political appointees. The patronage is overmuch and it's weighing down on our economy. Some time ago, I think in 2011 or thereabout, 2011, there was this, I think they included them in the conversation of the Alhassan report, the Border Community Development Agency. By this year, it will be about 13 years or 15 years that agency was created. If Nigerians look into the activities of BCDA in these past years, we will weep for this country. We will weep for this country. Billions are allocated to them, and these billions are shared across on the table. This will be assigned to certain members of the House of Representatives, this other one to House of to Senate, and this one to one director or the other in the presidency. How long can we continue in this? For the purpose of this BCDA that I'm talking about, their primary assignment is to develop the border communities that are at our international borders, so that there will be adequate school, water, and also on for these people. Go and find out how much have they done. Nothing.
Thank you very much for your time today. But before we go, let's quickly take one of our social media stories that has to do with the dollar. We have a video that's coming up. Please play it for us.
Stand in my office as a prophet. Dollar to naira. Right now, $1 is how much? 1,009 or 1,800 or whatever. Now here is dollar. My name is Chibwe Education. I operate from heaven. Dollar, hear my voice. Go down in the name of Jesus Christ. You will not be a prophet. After today, you will not be a prophet. After today, you will not be a prophet. Elias Zakata, the suffering is too much. I cannot be here as a prophet, and my people will be suffering. Dollar crash, 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 crash. Dollar crash, crash, crash. Dollar crash, crash.
Can I call you back? I did. Man, boy is the best. Oh, boy is the scatter area. Oh, boy is the best. Oh boy. This is, I think this is such a one where.
We're truly a religious society, but what do you make of that video of that pastor praying on dollar to crash?
The pastor himself probably is aiding the dollar to rise and rise and rise, as it were. I have many reasons to think in that direction, but God is not I don't know, it's not it's not a magician. He has put out laws that rules the universe, and these laws are working. If you pray for the laws not to work, you are wasting your time, because he's not going to say, because I framed the universe to work this way, by the time it is 6 a.m., the sun will come up. By the time it is 4 p.m., the sun will go down. You begin to pray that the sun will not rise by 6 a.m. Are you not the one that is stupid? God is not stupid. Dollars will crash by tomorrow. After doing what? What is the framework that will make it crash?
After praying.
Let's see the miracle that comes with his prayer.
Thank you very much, Obadiah Mbila, Chairman Lovewalk Media. Thank you so much for your time today.
I'm very grateful, my dear. Thank you.
All right, viewers, thank you so much for your calls, and that's where we draw the curtains for today. We'll see you again tomorrow. I am Olamide Alhassan. Have a great day ahead.